I am Stacy A. Cross, and there is no E in my name.
Ladies and gentlemen, comfort killers, okay? Whether you are watching or listening now, later, or in the future, it's always the perfect time. I am Stacy A. Cross, and there is no E in my name. And it's another special day here. It's a unique day. It's Monday. I love freaking Mondays, okay? Because that's the day we got to get up and crush it. We already planned out our week. I already know who was going to be my guest today. I have a freaking killer in the house. And aside from all those digital marketing companies, the other things and the sales, and here's the thing, I got a clothing brand company here. And as you guys know, I was into that. There's a company called Preferred Class. I failed at it though. So now I'm here to learn with you guys what Andres Ocampo is doing with Entrepreneur.co. Entrepreneur is the clothing brand, and it's spelled differently, right? It's ENTRPRNR. We're gonna ask him about that because what the hell, okay? So Andres, thank you so much for joining me today on the Comfort Killers. How are you?
Thank you. Amazing. Super glad to be here. Super stoked for this interview.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. It's been a while. I know we missed the scheduled interview, so we're definitely going to kill this one for sure.
Yo, let's kill it. Timing is always like I said, it's always at the right time. Maybe that time I would have been, I would have been on my period or something, man. Yeah. What? Hey, we don't know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So tell me first of all, how old are you? Because you got the baby face.
Yeah.
How long you been in business?
I'm 21. Been in business for about a touch 2 years. In about 6 months or so, we're at a year and a half. Just getting started pretty much. Still got a long way to go.
Yeah, but you've accomplished so much in that small space of time. It's almost like time doesn't matter, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I believe time is relative to everyone. A lot of people, if you spend 8 hours a day working on your business for an entire year, it's kind of the equivalent of, working 3 to 4 hours a day, 2 years. So I think it's relative, it's something that we've been doing for, like I said, almost 2 years. And, towards the beginning, it was just 10, 12, 15 straight hour days. And it didn't feel like that because we were kind of just sitting around, and it was like, me and my business partner, David Blodgett, it was like, shooting ideas and getting things going. And it's the enthusiasm of starting something new and knowing in the back of your head that you're about to start something that's very special, even though you don't even have a name yet. It's incredible.
No, I definitely know that feeling. Don't know the business, don't know nothing, but you're 100% in something. You're 100% in the idea of what you're doing. And I think it provides so much energy. Like you said, 15-hour days don't even seem like any time at all because you're so passionate, you're so involved. So you got a business partner, David. You guys are in May 2015. You guys are kind of, bouncing ideas off of each other. Why a clothing brand, and why is it spelt that way?
So it's a bit of an interesting story about how it all came to be. So long story short, I had reached out to this guy on Instagram. His name was Pejman Gadimi. At the time, I didn't know anything about business. I never really, started any official businesses or anything of that nature. And I reached out to him with the kind of like an inquiry, like, hey, man, I have this business idea that I want to get off the ground. It's to start an app to revolutionize language learning. And it's still a viable idea. It's just sitting there waiting to get executed. I don't have the time now, but for sure in the future. And so I came up to him. We ended up meeting up. He's an hour and a half away from me. I drove up north, met up with him, met up at a Starbucks, and we sat down, and he pretty much shot down my idea. Not in terms of, your idea sucks, but it was more of like, okay, these are a few core reasons why your idea would kind of fail right out the gate. And so he let me know about that, and he kind of just, kind of shat on my dreams a little bit. And I went home, and it was about 3 a.m, and I was just laying in bed, kind of like, shit, I thought I had it figured out with this idea. I'm kind of confused as to what I want to do now. But what I do know and what I'm very certain about is that I know that life is going to take me on the path to becoming an entrepreneur. And I feel like, you don't just wake up one day and say, oh, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, but it's kind of a path that you get led on through life. And so I woke up, I started thinking about the name entrepreneur. I knew that's what I was going to end up being in life. And for some reason, I just kind of started playing around with the vowels, some of the letters. I took a few out, and then I came up with, what is entrepreneur now, ENTRPRNR. And I told myself, this is the greatest name I've ever thought of. Even if I start a company that sells toiletry products, this is going to be a name. I don't give a shit. So, that kicked off, and I had the idea of putting, at the time, it was this whole motivation niche wave going on Instagram, the pictures with the quotes, the loved ones kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, maybe it would be a cool idea to kind of take that concept and put it on t-shirts. And so that was the initial idea of entrepreneur, to take, the pictures and the quotes and all that stuff and put them directly on garments. And that's what the idea was born. But that definitely isn't what it ended up being. About a week later, I started doing all the filing, all the, legal paperwork, all the base, ground, framework stuff. And I kind of came at a crossroads because I needed a logo for the company. And me personally, I had never dealt with any sort of logo design, graphic creation or anything like that. So I reached out to a close friend, a personal friend of mine who I grew up with in high school, who's, my business partner now, David Blodgett. And he wouldn't create that logo for me, unless I told him what it was for. And I was kind of reluctant to tell him the idea. And he kind of just said, you know what, man, screw it. If you don't tell me, I'm not going to do it. And I said, all right, fine. I thought about it for a day, came back, told him, and he absolutely loved it. The next day he came back, gave me a list of things that we could kill. And the rest was history.
And the rest is history. But what was amazing was that journey. Like, you're focused on, hey, the life path. And it's so funny. You took care of the back office stuff, which was the legal filings. A lot of people don't even start with that, right? So you kind of knew exactly the road that you needed to take, even though you didn't have something concrete, such as the logo. And then you outsourced what you didn't know. Here's another big point, right? A lot of times we don't know about graphics. We're sitting here for 20 hours playing with freaking Photoshop when we could go get the experts in that industry. You did that. It happened to be a friend of yours. He now, it had to happen like that. And I love the way journeys kind of take shape when you're just open about things. I know you were reluctant, but he had to be the one that you called, and now he's involved.
Boom.
Now,
like that.
Yeah, so so now you get this logo. Everything is, you crushed it. You got David on the team. Entrepreneur. I love what you say. So it's ENT. I love how you said ENTRPRNR. I love that. I love that. I love saying it like that. Now, from now on, I'm saying it like that. The world's first clothing brand dedicated to entrepreneurship. So when did it turn from just photo quotes on a shirt to a clothing brand for entrepreneurs?
Right. So at that point, we were about a week and a half. I reached out to David. I said, hey, man, I need a logo. These are my ideas for the logo. This is the name of the company. It will remain this name. There is, no discussion about the name or like how it's going to be. But everything else is game, baby. Let's do it. And he said, okay, cool. Let's get to work. So I shot him some ideas about how I wanted the logo to look. I had some experience in the paint application. So I kind of just drew up a little box, put the name in there. And I was like, okay, this looks good to me. What's your opinion? Yeah. And he said, okay, cool. I like it. Let's take it. Let's put it on Photoshop, Illustrator, and let's make a good, nice vector of the logo. We ended up doing that. And, once we had everything concrete as far as like the back end stuff, the logo, the company name, all that stuff, we started moving into the actual production of shirts and all that. And we threw some ideas around, and we ended up, skewing away from the idea that we wanted to put these whole motivational quotes and stuff on it. And we said, hey, let's start simple. Let's start with a vision, the vision of the company, the direction we want to take, our purpose, and then let's just do some simple branding. So we ended up printing our classic tee, which is this one over here. Our most famous tee. It's our staple. And then we moved on to a few other designs. We started off with 3 designs. We started it off with a design called the scroll, the crest, and this one, the classic tee. And we took it from there. We did 90 shirts, I believe it was. Our first batch was 96 shirts between 3 designs. And we took off from there.
Coming from a shirt background, though, coming from this clothing brand, I know it was probably 96. That's just the stats of getting printed, you know? But you know what's cool is that if it's a one color design, you know, if you kind of get to these basic levels of what the cost effective, one color on a white shirt or a black shirt, it's more cost effective than a 3 color, right?
Oh,
so my first shirt, I came out with all these damn colors. I'm like, the thing was so expensive. At
the
like 32.
rainbow shirt.
Yeah.
The
Come
rainbow
on, man.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, the clothing industry, it's you know, it's not an industry. People who come up to me and say, hey man, you know, I want to start a clothing business, you know, I tell them I'm all for it. You know, everyone and their mom has a clothing background.
Right.
But the true key is really, you know, getting your feet off the ground and then taking off from there.
From there.
Correct. And the thing is, the ugly truth is, it is the most competitive business ever in my eyes. You know, this is the only one I've really touched my feet into. But this is just, it's ruthless. It's saturated. It's ruthless.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's no room for people who aren't persistent and who aren't willing to do whatever it takes to get their name out there. So
and who doesn't remain close to the original mission and purpose of the brand? That's why I love what you said. You started off with the vision. So how did you successfully grow 6 figures? Now I know I was on the website for a bit, and I love what you said here. You know, in the About Us, it said, you know, your social media content,
correct,
driven brand, lifestyle brand, so dedicated to entrepreneurs. Now, was that you're using Instagram now? So is that how did you get these celebrities to wear your T-shirt?
So it's an interesting story. Yeah, I mean, you know, our core philosophy or who we are and what we stand behind, we're a content-driven lifestyle media brand. Our reason for our existence is to create content and create, you know, quality products and good pictures and good videos and all this stuff, you know, as a form of entertainment for our followers and inspiration. And so we started off on Instagram. We were born on Instagram. And eventually, around the 8-month, 9, 10-month mark, close to a year, we started branching out into stores all across South Florida, you know, physical brick and mortar retail stores. And we ended up getting into a few. One of the stores we got into is a grandfather store here in downtown Miami, one of the oldest standing stores. It's called Foot Soldiers, and run by Isaac Gargier. And we started there. Isaac was very kind to us. He said, yeah, you know, I love what you guys are doing. I'll give you some shelf space in the store. We'll start off with that and we'll see what happens. So we ended up saying, you know, screw it, let's do it. We stocked it up. And, you know, 3-4 months later, you know, we had people like Nicky Jam, Travis Barker stopped by the store. You know, all these people, Flow Rida, they bought stuff. They weren't given this stuff, you know. It wasn't like, hey, you know, this cool brand, take this, you know. And
the original way that they say to do it, give all your stuff away.
Correct. The original way is, you know, the traditional.
Yeah, the traditional.
Give all stuff away, and hopefully they wear it. But I'm a true believer that if you refrain from giving stuff away and people organically wear your brand, you will begin to see the true impact you're making.
Yes.
If people are wearing something organically, like, hey, you know, I really like this shirt, I'm going to put it on. It's a huge difference, you know, as opposed to, hey, take this shirt, boom, throw it.
Yeah.
And then you kind of feel guilty and wear it kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I love that. And yeah, because you're absolutely right. You know, the articles out there is like, you gotta give these free things away. Everything's free. And I'm like, absolutely not. Now I know that that's not the way, you know, because if you believe in your brand 100%, you could send that vision out and people will believe in it as well, enough to give you some energy, which is money. So we're just transacting energy, you know, back and forth.
True.
You're 21 years old, bro. You're from Colombia. When did you come to America and start crushing it?
Yeah, so I'm 21 years old. I was born in Colombia, South America, in a very, very nasty times, you know, the whole narco terrorism times, you know, most famously known as the Pablo times. We were there for about 3 years. My family ended up immigrating. Actually, we went to Canada, to Montreal. So shout out to all my
It's probably Montreal. You were right. No, I'm only kidding.
Montreal. Yeah, it was
Montreal. Yep.
Montreal. We went to Montreal, Quebec, and we lived there for about a year, 2 years. My dad's side of the family is actually from there. And we ended up coming from Montreal here to the United States, to Miami, Florida. You know, the best city in the world, baby,
Yeah.
Miami, Florida. And been here ever since. Good 16, 17 years.
So where did you get this kind of, because I remember you saying that the path of an entrepreneur, you knew that that's what you wanted to be. You're pretty young still, right? Age is nothing but an experience, I say. But what started happening in your life where you knew that this business, this entrepreneurial lifestyle is what you wanted?
You know, we have a very famous saying at Entrepreneur. It's something that we've always told each other, and that's me and David are very in tune with our thoughts. And one of the most significant ones, I guess you could say, is we're true believers that entrepreneurship cannot be taught, only encouraged.
Yes.
And so for us, it's very important, you know, to always be drawing inspiration. And for me, particularly growing up, I always saw these people with, you know, the nice stuff. You know, when you're young, you only see the material surface side of everything. So, you know, I always saw these nice cars, these nice houses, nice watches, and I'm very, you know, bougie. I'm luxe, and I like
Yeah.
And so I started looking at that, and the thought process behind it was, okay, why do these people have this stuff and, you know, these people don't? Or, you know, there's different, you know, communities within the population and the, you know, society. And I started thinking about that. And, you know, it wasn't until I turned, you know, 16, 17, 18 years old where, you know, I'd come to my parents and I'd feel almost like ashamed of myself. Like, hey, you know, can I have money to go out or do this? And ever since then, it was like, okay, I got to make my own money. You know, I got to get my own feet off the ground. You know, I got to put pressure on me to move forward in life. And, you know, it was kind of conditional. I kind of wanted to study medicine back in the day, you know, a few years back before, you know, not attending school anymore.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. And then Entrepreneur happened and we took off, and I just decided this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to dedicate my life to. And that's entrepreneurship.
No, that makes perfect sense. You know, coming up from Jamaican background, Jamaican fan, we came here for the American dream. Like, the American dream was the white picket fence, you know, the job,
the big house,
the big house, the doggy, and jerk chicken.
Pool.
And jerk chicken.
And jerk chicken. And the jerk chicken.
Hey, we got to keep the jerk chicken in there. But then when I realized that the tradition, the mindset of my family, which is no fault of theirs, it was just to be workers, and hit that 401k and retire.
Correct.
I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I don't even want to work for anyone right now. So I love the fact that, you know, you're drawing some inspiration from, you know, who you were, but also setting the new cycle, right? Breaking the tradition, setting and understanding, hey, listen, I got to go out here and create and get my own, because I'm a bougie ass dude. All right. I want nice things. And I want to live a lifestyle for the experiences and the memories, and also have a company that's able to show millions and help millions. It's a product that really inspires, you know. It's always twofold. So before we get into your goals, I want to talk about, because since we're the comfort killers, right? You know, I was addicted to gambling for 9 freaking years. I actually went to Miami one time, landed. This is how addicted I was. There was some hood booger casino right next to the freaking airport.
Right next to the airport.
I went in there, got depressed, but I was addicted, right? So I redirected that. Now I'm still addicted, but I'm just addicted to construction and positivity and it's success.
Correct.
You know, I didn't want to lose that, because a lot of people are not addicted to anything. But Andres, I mean, tell us the time when you got uncomfortable. Tell us the time when shit got real. And you had to really come to terms with what you want to do in life. What was that? What was that most uncomfortable moment?
Man, you know, I don't know if you can see it. I have goosebumps right now.
Oh, I do see it, man.
Yeah, it's just, you know, I went through a time. Almost 2 years ago. It was a very difficult moment for me because, and you know, it's something crazy, you know, like a family member passing away, but I mean, a personal time where I was in school. I was in university. I had just graduated high school, and I was in university, and I wanted to study medicine. I had my sights, 100% dialed in, locked in for medicine for 4 or 5 years before that, before I was even in high school. And I was all for it. I was all for it. I got invited by the White House doctor then to a medical forum in DC. I was there for 2 weeks. It was incredible. I had a great time. And I really, I do have a passion for medicine.
Yes.
But, university came around, and, I started getting older. I started maturing a little more, 18, 19 years old by then. And I started seeing all these things and like really learning about the whole medical field. And I spoke to a lot of personal friends who were doctors. And it was just, at the end of the day, it was something that it was a quality of life that I knew I personally wasn't going to be happy with. And so at that moment, it was where I started having, these weird thoughts like, okay, shit, I had always told myself like, this is, medicine is plan A, and plan B is like live on the street. There is no in between.
Right.
It's this or nothing.
Yes.
And so at that moment, it was having these weird, curious thoughts as to, okay, if there's no medicine, then what else is there?
Right.
Like this, people are starting companies and businesses and, their own entities that produce capital and all this stuff. And I started thinking, okay, maybe I want to do something that's not as, so professional as you speak. And I started thinking about doing my own thing. And once I got to my first or second year at college, university, I had told my parents I went for a summer in Colombia, and I came back and I told my parents, guys, I'm sorry, no more medicine. That's
oh my God.
Thing.
Oh my God.
No. You have no idea. Coming from a traditional Colombian family.
What?
You know what I'm talking
what?
about. Making back. No.
I was supposed to be a nurse, man. That was my rite of passage. So I get it totally.
That's the existential permission right there.
Yeah, that's it.
Man, so, coming from a traditional background, I was like, oh, shit. Well, what do you mean you don't want to study medicine? What do you mean you don't want to be a professional? What do you mean you want to study, business, the most widely studied topic or career in the entire world? I think a business degree is like the most popular, number one. And so it was like, okay, perfect. You don't want to study medicine. That's completely fine with us. Pay your own tuition.
Oh.
Bang,
oh.
Bang. So I got hit with you don't want to follow the whole rules or whatever you want to call them, then you can take care of yourself. You can still live here, you're still maintained, but you want to not study medicine, you got to pay for your own tuition. And so at that point it was like, oh shit, I was put between two big boulders and I had no way of getting out. And it was either go back and, study medicine or move forward and study something that I'm not even sure about. But that I've just been having my curious thoughts about. Yeah. So I said, you know what? That's completely fine with me. I'll figure it out. Like I've always figured it out at the end of the day. And I said, screw it. I'm moving forward. I'm studying business.
Yes.
At Florida International University, FIU. I'm studying business at FIU. And I'm going to see what happens. And I ended up taking out 2 credit cards. And I maxed them all out. I spent like $9,000-$10,000 on 2 semesters. And at that point, it was after that semester, I was like, holy shit! I still have 6 or 8 more semesters to go, and I just spent $10,000, and I'm pretty much now in debt $10,000 because of this shit.
Yes.
And I have 0 return from these 2 semesters.
Right.
So it was a very difficult spot for me. I didn't know what to do. And at the end of the day, that was around the time that I had started Entrepreneur. We were about 4 months in, and, we were seeing this growth in the company. And I just said, there's no way I can continue to do it. Putting myself in a hole when I'm trying to progress with this company.
Yes.
It was like I was taking, 1 step forward and then 3 steps backwards. And at the end of the day, I just said, you know what? It was actually as I was enrolling for, I think, my 4th semester, 4th or 5th semester, I was enrolling. I did the first 2 weeks of school. I went to school the first 2 weeks, And that's you kind of have like in universities, you have like a buffer or margin. The first 2 weeks you go through all your classes, you have time to switch all your classes.
Sure thing. Yeah.
Whatever. And on the last day, it was time to pay. It was like $4,500. And I was staring at the computer screen like, shit, like I'm about to, use my whole line of credit at 19 years old. And I was looking at it and I said, fuck it. And I dropped everything.
My God.
And I looked away and I went to work at David's house. And the rest is history.
Yeah, that's an amazing story because number one, it reminds me of my own story. Number two, I know what it feels like to face and confront parents of tradition and tell them this is not what I want to do. And them saying, you don't even know what you want. This is what you need to do. And kind of leaving you by the wayside to figure life out. That's why I respect, I know there's some new type of parents that are like, whatever, like David Wonke, our friend there from, Pure Tropics. His parents is like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
And I was like, mine didn't, But I totally understood what you meant when you said you're in debt, right?
Right.
In the registrar office, one of my clinical classes for nursing was $7,000. Just one freaking 3-credit in the hospital clinical course. You didn't even get to the part. If you stood in medicine, you would have probably. Yeah.
Oh
my God.
All day.
I was like this, like I was in a strip club.
Spending money that wasn't even in existence.
It wasn't even mine. Okay.
Yeah.
So I understand it totally. And then making that firm decision, no matter how, because you're following really some intuition, some gut, because you don't have any facts to base what you did off. There's no facts there. There's no facts that says, entrepreneur is going to be this. No, you're just going off of, you dropped all of it last day to withdraw. I know the period that you're talking about because I'm doing this. I'm playing with my.
Yeah, you're flashing back and you're remembering.
Oh my God. So I totally get it. I totally feel you. And, and I know you're happy with that decision because, you followed your true happiness and heart. And, but now you got some big goals to accomplish. And now you've taken it to a level where there's no turning back at this point. No. You are who you are. It's entrepreneur. It's ENTRPRNR.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So you want to scale entrepreneur. You want to scale your company to a 7-figure brand, eventually reaching 8 figures. Now, when I reach someone's goal, I will say, how? How are you going to do it? But the how doesn't matter. It's what energy are you going to put into that now? What does it take? Bringing on someone else? Like, how do you see yourself doing this?
Right. So on paper, it's simple. On paper, it's always simple. Doesn't matter what business you're in. On paper, it just looks so pretty. You have everything set down. But then when it comes to crunch time, it's, 100 different things change, 100 different things, go differently. But on paper, it's simple. Scale what we're doing in sales now to around the $15,000 a month.
Yes.
Keep that trend and, implement a bunch of new strategies, branch out to other social media platforms, different types of marketing, try to get influencers on board.
Yeah.
So, a lot of the things that big brands are doing, for example. So do all these things, eventually scale to $15,000 a month and keep that upwards trend towards the end of the year. We should close, $250,000 if we keep that trend. So that's the short-term goal. End up doing $250K next year around that mark. And then consistently double day in, day out and try to exert, that same amount of energy towards building to a bigger company in the next 3 to 4, 5 years and reach that 7-figure mark.
No, I love that because, first of all, I love what you said. You don't change what you've been doing to get you to that. You maintain that. You just add new strategies on top of that. A lot of people want to, oh my God, I'm at this new place. Let's do this and forget about what. And then, and that doesn't necessarily work. That's good for you. Have you partnered with any like screen printers? Like you could just be like, hey, listen, print me up 100,000 shirts now and get it on credit.
Yeah. I mean, you know how it works. There's definitely, you build a relationship with your printers, with your manufacturers, especially when they're here in Miami. We have several printers here in Miami. We have 2 main ones and we have very good relationships. We've been working together for almost 2 years. They see the movement, they see the move of the inventory, the turnover, the quality, the work that we're trying to put in, the vision we're trying to create.
Yeah.
So they see that. And, you know, a lot of people are scared to build relationships with a printer just because they think it's, you know, strictly professional. But at the end of the day, a relationship is a relationship.
That's
so
it.
We've been able to really work with our printer. And a lot of times, you know, we don't have, you know, $15,000 to drop on, you know, 1,000 shirts or like a bunch of, you know, different stuff or a huge order. And they'll work with us. You know, we do a lot of credit orders. You know, we put in the order, it comes out, it's on credit, you know, 30, 60 days to pay it back, and we end up selling, killing it. And then boom, it's all good. We move on to the next, you know, the next move. So.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. In a business, any business really, just like the printers, you build these relationships as you go. So whatever you need, it's almost like, hey, that's done. You know, people could go off of word of mouth. You built your integrity and your ethics are good. They see what you're doing, you know, and I can't blame my family for being like, Stace, we don't believe you, because I've been not believed and untrustworthy so much in the past. I had to put down the work, make it concrete, and continuously do it over. Now I can reach out to people and they're like, done, because I built that strategy. Okay. So where can people find you? Where can people learn more about this company and brand and buy a shirt? Okay, because we're not giving none for free, all right?
We actually did, though. We actually did a free T-shirt giveaway campaign 3 days ago.
You got to do it when its time is right.
We got to do it when the time is right. We try to do it this time. It worked out really well. You know, Instagram is changing a lot, so it didn't work out exactly the way we wanted to. But, you know, you live and you learn. Next time it's going to be better and greater than ever. But people can find us at www.entrprenr.co. That's our main website. That's where you can purchase gear. You get all this good stuff. You can find us on Instagram at ENTRPRNRCO. Same thing without the dot.
Yeah.
And same thing for Facebook. You can reach out to us to email if you guys have any questions as far as, you know, business, T-shirts. info@entrepreneur.co. Reach out to us, whatever you want, whatever you need.
Hold on 1 second. I love that. Siobhan, would you be able to pass a You Kill Time T-shirt here? So you know, since I love shirts because it was my business, starting the Comfort Killers, I came out with a shirt. Like I had to. There's something that we knew that we wanted to do very early on to make our staple shirt. So this one is, and now that you're a pro, okay, is you kill time, we kill comfort.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Hey, the Comfort Killer staple.
Boom, that's it. That's your staple right there. That's it. I like it.
And you see, I didn't learn my lesson. I went with 2 color. I just couldn't do 1 color.
The one color life is too bland.
The one I need to. And when you think of Funnel Hacker with that Funnel Hacker distressed shirt, and it's like people will go nuts over it. That shirt costs $3.
$3, even less.
Even less, right? So, you know, and that's another thing that I came to terms with is, did I check out the cost of the shirt? Did I check out this? Now it's more of I want to flood the world. Before I wanted it to be very boutique, very thing, but I want to flood the world. But that's a very, you know, American Apparel is the top, right? Yeah, I found something next to American Apparel, and we were able to print that shirt. It wasn't $3, way more. High quality, but we need to collab on a shirt.
I'm down. Let's do it. We're always open to collabs and, you know, promotions and working together.
Yeah, no, you heard it here. I always do something on the actual when things are recorded. So people, I'm gonna just send it to people. Yo, remember we said we're gonna collab. All right, and you put it out there to the public. That's it. I always drop something right there. Like I'm gonna interview Kevin Harrington next month. Nice. I'm gonna drop some. Hey, Kevin,
you gotta put him on the spot. You can't let him get away.
Hey, I can't. I'm gonna pitch you right here on the show. Okay. No, but you were the medicine man. You were the Colombian man, right? Coming to America. Hopefully you weren't that Canadian that long, but you were the Canadian man. And now you're the entrepreneur and you're building a business, you're scaling, you're changing the world. But you also, the last thing here is I want to make sure that I point this out because I believe you're a great spirit. Like your energy is great. and continue to be healthy mentally, emotionally, and physically. And I think that's the scope of life. You know, it's like, even though we're building and it may be high stress, you learn to bring it back and take care of yourself. What does that look like, Andres?
Yeah, I'm very, very strict on you know, everything in that category. I am a firm believer that you can have amassed all the wealth, all the success, all the prosperity, financially, but at the end of the day, this is your vessel. This is what allows you to move through this world. And you know, if you're not taking care of that, if you're not taking care of your mental stuff, you know, health, I like to do a lot of reading. You know, once a week, 2, 3 times a week, I'll try to dive into a book.
Give us a book.
Oh man, let me see. I have a book right here. Where is it? Actually, I don't have the one I'm reading right now. Oh yes, I do. Boom, here it is. I actually just started this one. It's a Jesse Itzler, classic entrepreneur.
Damn.
He's living with a seal. I just started it. It's really good. And then I have another one that I'm actually rereading. Boom, Third Circle Theory.
Damn. Yeah, hold on. Let me take notes.
You got to take both right now. This is a huge mindset. Living with a seal, crazy, crazy mindset. Really good book. It's about Jesse Itzler. He ends up living 31 days with who he considers the toughest man on the planet, who is actually a Navy SEAL. And he just teaches everything about life. He learns a bunch of stuff. He talks a lot about, I believe it's called the 40%. I haven't really gotten into it. The 40% rule. And you never know, you know, how much you have inside of you. And this is the other book, Third Circle by my mentor, Pejman Gadimi. Fucking amazing book. Hands down, one of the best business books I've ever read, to be honest.
I'm on it. I'm on both of them because, you know, I love the fact that here's the thing. You get those classic books. If I would have asked anyone else, right, they probably would have showed me Think and Grow Rich. They probably would have showed me, hey, you know, there's other things to gather this inspiration. I love this SEAL thing because I love discipline 100% and freaking this strict. You got to stiffen discipline in all areas. So I'm on it, man. Thank you so much. So this is what you're doing. You're reading. You're strict with your health and
correct. You know, working out, in tune, eating good, eating healthy recently, but yes, eating good is definitely one of them. You know, always keep your mind sharp, always learn new things. I'm always, you know, jumping on the computer, looking up different things about graphic design, website building.
Staying learning mode.
Correct. Always. You don't want to fall into this whole, you know, comfort stage.
Yeah, man. You said the right word.
All the way.
Yeah, I love it.
All the way.
I freaking love it. Andres, I'm about to throw I usually throw stuff, but I'm not going to throw anything in this episode. Comfort Killers, you heard it here. I mean, the true journey, you know, I think that's what you laid out for us, the true journey, where path takes you with adversity, with feelings, with emotions, right? But knowing you're staying on course and you're building a business. I mean, you're a humble guy. Yeah, I just get that energy from you, but you want so much, man. You can see it. Like your eyes are laser focused on what you want and what you're going to attain, bro. And we love it so much. So I'm just going to say one line here and you just answer yes or no. It's just simple.
Boom.
Andres Ocampos, are you a comfort killer, bro?
Yes, 100%. A comfort killer.
Beautiful. Boom. And listen, guys, you heard it here. Replay it. There's so many nuggets in here. I usually highlight them back over, and you'll see it in the show notes. All the information for Andres is in the show notes, and you can find them on Instagram and on the website. And here it is. I am.
Boom.
Stacy A. Cross.
There
is no E in my name. Until next time, comfort killers.